Hey guys, so in this video I wanted to give you guys an update now that I have been working as a special education paraprofessional for over a month now. I'm a month and a few days into this new job, and so I wanted to share my tips for any of you who might be interested in going into special education or working as a paraprofessional, whether it's special education or not. Although most of my tips will be from a special education paraprofessional standpoint, simply because I am a special education paraprofessional. So I have 6 tips, and so I'm going to take them one at a time. Sorry, I am still congested currently, so you'll have to deal with that. I'm sorry. Number 1 is don't take anything personally. So I think it's very easy to take things personally, especially when you have students telling you that they hate you or screaming at you. But one thing you have to understand is when you work with especially young people, but people who have special needs, they may not be able to verbally communicate a lot of things, or they may not understand how to get their point across or make you understand what it is that they feel or what they need. And so a lot of times they lash out with anger. They say things that they may not mean. They say things that they may not even understand what it means. And so it's very important to not take anything personally. Another thing with that is that kids are very brutally honest. So if you are somebody who is overweight like me, I have had kids ask me why I'm so much bigger than them, because I am a one-to-one special education paraprofessional for the majority of my day. So I'm in a kindergarten class, and a lot of times I end up having to sit next to my student, and obviously the tables and the chairs in the kindergarten classroom are very small, so I look like a giant when I'm sitting at the table compared to the other students. And I've been asked questions like that. I have learned through my years of being a CNA not to take things personally. And so I think that definitely helped prepare me for this job in special education, not taking things personally. Because like I said, a lot of times they're either kids being kids and being brutally honest, or they simply don't understand how to get their point across in a way that is polite. Tip number 2 is don't wear clothes that you don't want ruined. So especially working with special education, but working in an elementary school setting, you come into contact with a lot of different things. One of my job duties is to monitor recess times. I more monitor my one-to-one than the entire class. However, if my one-to-one student is doing okay, I do try to float around and help other students as needed. A lot of things can happen throughout the day, whether that's glue sticks and you get glue all over your shirt, in the cafeteria at lunchtime getting pizza sauce or spaghetti sauce or whatever all over your clothes. I've had kids wipe pizza sauce and salsa and everything else on my shirt. Especially with my one-to-one, who is very sensory, and this student likes to touch things and then put their hands on me because they want to make sure that I'm close to them. So I've gotten sauce and different things all over my shirts. So definitely don't wear clothes that you wouldn't be okay with getting rid of. Tip number 3 is that patience and flexibility are essential. When you are working with the special needs or special education population, you have to realize that you have to meet them at the place that they're at. What is easy for you or what you may think they should understand, they may not be able to grasp that concept. So you definitely need to be flexible in the way that you do things with them. You need to be patient and understanding of the fact that you have to kind of adapt the way that you do things to help them learn the way that they can. So for example, the one student or one of the students that I work with is semi-nonverbal Like they respond to certain things, but not other things. And they respond verbally in some ways, but not others. And so like I have found different ways to ask a question so that the student is able to verbally respond to the question. But like if you were to ask it in a quote unquote normal way, this student would not be able to respond or wouldn't know how to respond, if that makes sense. So I definitely think that being patient, understanding, being flexible with the way that you do things, understanding that your student may just need a break. There are multiple students that I work with throughout the day who literally like they need to just get up and walk around. They can't sit there all day long or as long as the other students are able to, because they need to be moving. They need to be, walking or touching things. And sometimes we use fidgets to keep their attention. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. So you just need to be flexible and patient. Number 4 is it is very important to create a bond, especially if you are working with a one-to-one student. You need to make the student feel safe with you. You need to make sure that they feel that they can trust you. And like I said, if you are working with a one-to-one student like I am currently, it's very important to create a bond. Like that student will run to me from across the cafeteria at morning time when this student is getting dropped off by their parent. Even from across the playground, if they need something, they know that they can run to me and I will help them, and they often do. They don't necessarily trust other teachers or other staff members as much as they trust me. And so like when I've had to be absent, I feel awful because I know that this student is probably having a harder day because of it. So it's definitely important to create a bond and be seen as trustworthy by your students. Tip number 5 is very important, and that is be prepared to go into your job with 0 to little training. So I was just kind of thrown to the wolves. I had no idea what to expect. I honestly didn't even know like what classroom I was going to be in, what teacher I was going to be working with, what student I was going to be working with until basically the first day of school. And I never really got any training. I just kind of like, if I had a question, I would ask either the teacher or another para, because I do work with a para on a daily basis, another special education para. And so it's been nice to be able to like bounce questions off of this other person and, kind of work together to find solutions in a creative way, because sometimes like we're both sitting there trying to figure something out, and it helps to kind of have that other person to bounce ideas off of. But definitely be prepared to go in with 0 to little training. And I think it kind of sucks that they do that to paras, especially because sometimes you are working with the students who have like the worst behavior problems, and you may not really know how to respond, especially if you're like me and it's your very first ever like special education job or a special education paraprofessional job or a paraprofessional job in general. On the Facebook group that I am a member of, there's a lot of paras who just get like thrown to the wolves and they have no idea what they're doing and they become overwhelmed and they quit. And so I think it would be nice if our bosses and the schools that we work for gave us some type of training, but definitely don't expect it. Especially currently with the way things are since COVID, like schools are very short-staffed to begin with, and so you definitely have to be understanding of that, but also know that you're probably going to get thrown in to situations that you may not be familiar with, or you might not know what you're doing. And tip number 6, which is the very last one, but it's also one of the most important ones. This is a very tough job, but it is very rewarding. Like I said, when you create that bond with your student, or you have those light bulb moments with your student, it makes every tough day so much more worth it. Like there was a moment recently in my student's class where all the way up until like 2 weeks ago, the student was basically like nonverbal during like carpet time, where we sing like the days of the week. We sing a song that we try to get the students to say, "Here I am," and respond in a verbal way. And my one-to-one student did not respond verbally until about a couple weeks ago, and now she's been doing it every day, and it's just so rewarding, and I love it. So like I said, there will definitely be tough days. You will definitely be finding yourselves in tough situations, but it is very, very rewarding in the end. And so I think that you need to remember that you will have those light bulb moments. You will have those awesome days. You will have the days where your student just surprises the heck out of you and, you know, they show you just how truly smart they are in their own way. And yeah. So anyways, I hope you guys found this helpful. If you would like me to make a video talking about any topic in further detail, please let me know. I'd be glad to get something filmed for you. If you want more information about working as a special education paraprofessional or working in special education or working as a paraprofessional in general, please let me know that as well. If you'd like any medical topics to be talked about, because obviously I am still a pre-med student, please let me know that. And again, I will get something filmed for you. And with that being said, I will talk to you guys next time.